Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a good one today. I'm Nick, and I'm continuing my October review series with the movie Halloween 2 from 1981, another classic. But before I get into this review, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any other future content. I'm trying to put out a review every single day this October, so stay tuned for more, and let's dive into this. So right off the bat, Halloween 2 takes place on the same night as Halloween 1. We just kind of continue the story, and it kind of does it flawlessly. It does a really good job at taking you back to that night and continuing on with that story. And it also helps that John Carpenter came back for writing and co-produced it with Deborah Hill. We get Donald Pleasance back as Dr. Sam Loomis. We get Jamie Lee Curtis back as Laurie Strode. Dean Cundey as the DP. There's a lot of the same cast and crew coming back to make this sequel, and I feel like it shows. It feels in the same vein as part 1, and I feel like it's kind of flawless transition into the rest of the night. And the basic story to this one is about Laurie Strode getting rushed to the hospital by ambulance to tend to her wounds that she suffered in the first movie, all while Myers is hot on her trail, heading to the hospital himself. Now, I think the hospital setting is a really cool setting for a slasher movie. The only problem with that is we get kind of the graveyard shift in this one, and it just feels too empty. Like, there's only a handful of nurses, well, not even, just a couple nurses, a couple ambulance drivers, and Laurie Strode and a security guard. That's basically everybody in this hospital. You figured we would get at least other patients singing out or whatever for help throughout the night or whatnot, but no, we really don't see any other patients but Laurie in here. And I feel like other movies, like the new Scream with their hospital scene, they did the same thing where it just feels like it's too empty. Like, where's all the staff? I do get that if this hospital was full and like running full in the daytime, that it'd be too safe. Obviously Myers would get caught right away. But yeah, it just feels a little too empty to me. And on top of that, once we get to the hospital, I feel like the movie just really drags for a bit. We follow just like nurses just walking around the hospital, security guard checking on things, going to the basement and such. It's like, it's a lot of filler, I feel, where the first act of this movie is stellar, kind of continuing off of the original and showing how everything led to the hospital. And the final act is really great too, where we get Myers after Laurie and all that great stuff. But the middle, it just kind of drags and not a whole lot happens. Donald Pleasance returning as Dr. Loomis, he's brilliant as always. He's a great veteran actor. He does get a little bit less to chew on here, but he still gets some great dialogue scenes. Jamie Lee Curtis is also fine as Laurie Strode, but she's a little bit useless in this film. She doesn't do a whole lot. She's basically bedridden up until the final act, and then she doesn't really fight Myers back or anything. She just runs and screams in agony up until the very end when she's trapped in the room with Myers. So she doesn't do a whole lot of final girl stuff in here. She almost feels like a supporting character. She doesn't feel like the main lead. This movie doesn't really have a main lead, in my opinion. You follow the nurses, the ambulance people, everybody almost just as much as Laurie. Hell, Dr. Loomis may be the actual main character in this. He probably gets the most screen time. And getting into the whole sibling thing with Laurie and Myers, it just doesn't really bother me, guys. I could take it or leave it. It doesn't really affect how I view this movie or not, or the franchise. I think it would have been smarter to not have his sister, and to just have him go after her and want to kill her because she's the one who got away. Like, make Laurie his new obsession and how he has to get her. That would have been interesting, and he could still find her in the hospital with the stereo, because that's how he knows that she's there. He hears it on the radio or whatever when someone's walking by him. So you could still get him to the hospital the same way, but you don't have to add in all this brother-sister crap, which kind of takes away from the original a little bit. We got Dick Warlock portraying Myers this time around. Not as good as Nick Castle, but he's still okay compared to some later Myers that we got down the road. He's just a bit more stiff, and he doesn't exactly have the same frame as Nick Castle, so The suit just doesn't fit him the same. Neither does the mask. It's supposed to be the same mask as the original, but it just looks a bit odd because obviously it was weathered down over the couple of years before filming this, and it's a different actor, so he wears it a bit different. But I feel like he's okay. This Myers is a bit more aggressive and brutal, and especially in his kills, which I feel like makes him more like a Jason character than a Myers character. He's less curious and more just brutal. It's more just going for the kill instead of like doing the head tilt thing and kind of trying to figure things out. This one he's just more straight to the point, which makes him a little bit less interesting. I guess what I'm trying to say is he lacks curiosity, and it makes him much less of a mysterious character. And getting into the kills, ironically, everybody knows that Friday the 13th ripped off Halloween. And this time around, it feels like Halloween was ripping off Friday the 13th. It upped the gore, upped the kills, made them more brutal, better special effects and whatnot. But it kind of dumbed down the characters in the story here, which is unfortunate. I do love Friday the 13th, so that's why I think I used to gravitate towards Halloween 2 when I was younger, or like a teen or whatever. But especially doing a review for this, I can really start to see more of the flaws stick out. But like I said, since I'm a big Friday the 13th fan, I do really enjoy the kills in here, especially the hot tub kill. That was always my favorite, how he just keeps dunking the girl's head in and out, and you could start to see her skin like come off her face. Looks gnarly. And yeah, I just love the kills in this film, whether we're talking about the hammer to the back of the guy's head, the old finger up the butt with the nurse, where he takes the scalpel in the girl's back. It almost looks like he got his finger up her butt. I love that meme. But yeah, some great kills in here. It just doesn't really feel a whole lot like Halloween. And I love that whole final act, how Myers is after Laurie and she goes out in the parking lot. I love all that bit right up until the final scene where she's in the room. Myers gets 2 gunshots to the face, bleeding blood, crying blood, I mean. And it ends with the room exploding due to the gas and the fire, killing Dr. Loomis and Myers. Supposedly killing the both of them. It should have killed them. I mean, especially Loomis. He was right in the thick of it, right in the room. There would have been nothing left of him. As for Myers, watching him burn after he walks out on fire, great stunt work, by the way, even though you can tell that he's wearing like a flammable suit thing for the stunt. It still looks great though. And when he's falls down and he's just laying there burning, and like the mask is like burning into his head, and that he should have been done. He should have burnt to a crisp. There's no reason why. I don't want to get into this yet. I'll get into it on part 4, but you know where I'm going with this. There's no way that just put him into a coma and he only gets a couple burn marks. Same for Loomis. That's just ridiculous to me. I thought that this was a great ending and they should have really killed it off and went with their anthology idea. I know the Halloween 3 pissed a lot of people off, but if they would have stuck with it, I think people would have been really grateful for what we got with this 2-part series. But either way, Halloween 2 is not the best film, but it is a great sequel, and I think it makes a good pair with part 1 if you watch them back to back on Halloween night. It just feels like one big story. And if y'all are wondering, do I recommend this movie? Of course I recommend it. Not the best movie in the franchise, but definitely one of the ones I prefer. You'll notice when you see my ranking later in the month. But yeah, it has its problems, but it's still watchable. It bogs down a little bit in the middle there, but if you can get past that, we get a really fun third act and some great kills in here. So there you go, guys. There's my thoughts on Halloween 2. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back tomorrow with another review, and until next time, guys, thanks for watching.